speakers. Everyone presented so much enthralling and so much informative speeches, right from usage of plastic, how we can ban plastic, and then about AI and diabetes, how can we prevent diabetes. Now let's hear from the evaluators. So let me introduce my first evaluator, Toastmaster Achintya. She has been the past president of Medic Club. And one thing that is very known about Toastmaster Achintya is that be it any situation, Toastmaster Achintya handles any situation with a contagious smile. Help me to welcome Toastmaster Achintya.
Thank you, Dolly. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We're having a public day. So I'm here to evaluate Toastmaster John Jayakumar's speech, Introduction to Artificial Intelligence, from the pathway 2, which is visionary communication. So Toastmaster John today, obviously when the topic was artificial intelligence, I was like, oh my god, such a dry topic. I think all of us are going to sleep, but believe me, it was really good today. I mean, it was just a brief introduction of what AI is, right? So my evaluation is based on two things. What was best, to me, is awesome, and what could have been done better, which is need for improvement, right? Now, you started with a very short story about the cancer patient who was suffering from leukemia and the diagnosis. Now, the diagnosis was obviously something where they spoke about the technology, which was not specified whether it was AI, right? And then later on, he started on what exactly AI is, right? There was an introduction by two different people, by name Mr. Demis and Mr. Andrew, right? Now, like you said, Andrew said AI is the new electricity, right? But AI is the new technology that we all have to embrace it, because that's where the future is heading, right? And Mr. Demis, I like the way you said, solve intelligence and use it to solve intelligence, right? That's a very nice way to put it, because we have to use our minds to make people's life better, which is the next generation, right? So there was a chronological order that you had, right, from 1956 until 2016, the kind of transformation that AI has been inbuilt in, right? So throughout the speech, there was no disturbance with your presentation, and it was good to have a visual presentation because it was even more attractive, because nowadays, all of us, I'm sure 8 seconds is what we can all listen to, and after that, attention is gone, right? So it was a good way of you to bring out the AI video as well, the PPT as well. Now, apart from this, you were also, given an example of how IBM and Deep Blue have gotten, the use of technology right from the previous eras, right? Now, we all know that everything that we do, or with regards to technology, has an AI influence on it, be it your messages, be it your chatbots, be it your navigation route. Without this, we definitely cannot survive, right? We've got so accustomed to be using technology, and we have to embrace it, right? Now, with regards to your speech, in terms of improvement, is the only thing that I felt was a little more, was your voice. Now, it's your first speech, right, after your icebreaker. Now, if you could be a little more louder, I think everyone else would have just been hooked to it, right? And that's the only improvement I have for you. Otherwise, it was a very good speech, and it was very informative. Now, I had my bit of sharing of learning about AI. I'm sure I'm going to pass on the information to all. I'm sure you all know what AI is. And obviously, we've got mixed crowd of students and professionals. So thank you so much, John, for the very informative speech. And I'm going to hand over the stage back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Achintya. And the next evaluator for us is Toastmaster Janani. So maybe the guests will not know, and you will get to gradually know. If you have a number saved, you will get to, all of you must be knowing this app called TikTok, right? Yeah. So you will get to see all her videos every day, I mean to say every hour she'll be uploading her videos and the mimics of in TikTok. So to evaluate the speech for Toastmaster Renu, may I welcome Toastmaster Janani on stage.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Republic Day. If you want to be 100% successful, you need to take the complete ownership of whatever you do. And yes, Toastmaster Renu, she took the complete ownership of her topic today. And our purpose was to research on some topic and present the topic in front of the crowd, right? Sorry. And we research on something that we are very curious about, on something we would like to bring a change on, or something we have some knowledge about. And yeah, Angry Renu, she's very curious about, telling us like the garbage is killing us every day. People don't believe you unless and until you go and tell them like this is happening with the data. And yeah, Renu had two sets of data. One is data on the larger scale and other data is on the smaller scale. Coming to larger scale data, it was like 5,400 metric tons of garbages are present throughout the Chennai. And the smaller scale one was like every family is using so and so garbages. And we all know like picture speaks 1,000 words, and she had so many pictures in her presentation which proved like yeah, Chennai is being occupied with garbages. And I know like Renu is an eco-friendly person. She don't use plastics, but now I know like she's saving the electricity too. When there was no use of PPT, she made sure like she offs the PPT, and then she came to the other stage and talked to us. And the objectives of the speech were to present a well-organized speech, which means to have a startup, to have a body, and to have a conclusion. Yeah, she did have data to present before us, and she had an excellent body wherein she had how plastics invade us, how to avoid them, and the solution as well. And it was informative as well. And when I watched the movie 2.0, I came to know like we are killing birds because of that mobile phones and data. But now after Renu's speech, I know like we are killing ourselves with the plastic that we use. And one recommendation I have to Renu is like her anger I could see in her voice, but with an angry walk, it would have been even more good, so that it would have made us even more guilty, I guess. And the voice modulation, I felt like if we were modulating our voice, it would have been even better. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Janani. All of you guests and members, like after the meeting, right, you can meet Toastmaster Renu. You will get to know so much about like how you can ban plastic, how you can reduce usage of plastic. And moving on to the third and the last speaker. The last speaker will be evaluated by Toastmaster Balmurali. He is a Toastmaster since 2014 and he is working as a banker. And he is planning to get into startups. And let me welcome Toastmaster Balmurali to evaluate Toastmaster Alagappal.
Thank you, Dolly. Thanks for the nice introduction. Toastmaster Alagappal is giving his CC7 speech, research the topic. So whenever Alagappal gives a speech, I always look forward to the speeches because there's a lot of humor which comes into speeches. He makes the speech very lively. Okay. So this trait of him, or this flair which he showed in giving humorous speeches, was he able to do it in a speech which is full of facts and data? So I would say it's a thumping yes. It was an amazing speech, Alagappal. So what really went well for your speech? So let me talk about that. Okay. First of all, it's a very good start. You recounted some incidences in your life, or some recent incidences where you talked about how health affected the people. Some of them are young and some of them are old. And how can we actually increase the life expectancy? So that is where you introduced the topic about increasing your life expectancy. You also threw in a very interesting statistic saying that 54% increase in our life expectancy over a period of 100 years. So definitely people are living more, but are they still living a quality life is something which you introduced next immediately. So what was the thing which is very important for us to lead a very quality life, improve your life expectancy? So we actually broke that into three. Why do people have a low life expectancy? What are the root causes for it? What are the reasons for it? Why do we have low life expectancy? We introduced the topic of non-communicable diseases are the major problem in our lives today. Because if you look at it, diabetes is there everywhere, cancer is there everywhere, and people seem to be dying from cancer. Every other day I hear about people talking about cancer, right? And every person I know, relatives or friends, have somebody or some tale to recount about cancer there. So that was an amazing thing there. Next, what are the facts and data to back anything when you talk about any topic? It's very important to back it with facts and data. So your slides were full of facts, were full of data. So it was able to convince us that really there is some problem there, and how do you address that? And finally, how do you address the problem? So how do you increase the life expectancy? Very simple thing: observe what you eat and what is the proportion you eat, and finally leading a very active life. So I would say it was very, very systematically built. Your entire case about a good life expectancy, the way you built this topic and made it appealing to people is very good. But what could you really do better? I felt that, other things which I want to also talk about is amazing thought flow which you had. There was continuous flow of data and continuous flow of information, right? And there was coherency of ideas also. That is also something which I liked. One thing I felt was that too many slides were there. I felt like the slides were moving very fast. Okay, there's so much of data in the slides there. So I think when you have a topic which is just for 5 to 7 minutes, it's very important to condense your slides, make it easy for people to observe the data which is there, because otherwise it's very difficult for people to observe so much of information which is there. So that is something which you need to keep in mind. Second thing is the quality of slides. I think you prepare the slides in a very hurried manner. That is very obvious there. So it's very important to make the slides appealing also, because what happens is the appearances make a lot of difference. So you may have a lot of content there, but the fact is that you have to present the data in a manner which is appealing to people. That's something which I want to give. So that's the thing. Concluding that, amazing speech and a very useful context and content there. And finally, all the very best for your journey in Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmasters. Balmuli. I think we have some juice for snacks, and Toastmaster Alagappan is going to check and tell us how much of sugar content and all is present there. So we will be moving to our next segment, and I'll be chasing my tag team now. May I request the time